Everybody ready?
Christmas, truly the most wonderful time of the year. Now, with each passing decade, Christmas becomes a time capsule full of memories that still impact us today.
From time immemorial, Christmas has been a season of giving and shared family moments. Welcome to Days Gone By, where we reminisce about the good old days. Let's delve into beloved Christmas traditions that were all the rage in the 1970s, but are sadly gone. The highlight of Christmas tree decoration was placing the star or angel on top of the tree. The star represented the Star of Bethlehem, which appeared to the three wise men in the Bible and led them to where Jesus was. An angel signified the moment angels appeared in the sky on the first Christmas. People began celebrating the birth of Jesus by placing an angel at the top of their trees. For others, finishing the tree with an angel or star was something they loved simply because it looked amazing. The family would pull the decorations from the attic, gather in one corner of the house, and spend time decorating the tree together. The decoration process could take a few hours or even a few days, but the final touch was always a special moment. The parents would lift the youngest child to place the final piece on the topmost branch. The family would cheer when the piece was in place, signaling the decoration process was done. It was one of the most beautiful family moments, filled with pride and togetherness. While the tradition is not entirely gone, it's no longer the big deal it was in the 1970s. Christmas was always a magical time, full of giving and receiving gifts. In the 70s, the season's beauty was in going into town as a family for Christmas shopping. Remember those days when it was bitterly cold, you dressed warmly, and bundled into the family car for the drive to town. All the shops went out of their way to decorate and light up, putting everyone in the Christmas shopping mood. In small towns, running into friends and neighbors in the shop aisles was a delight. The exemplary customer service and the thrill of hunting for the perfect gifts made the shopping experience unforgettable. As a child in the 70s, the whole experience was magical and surreal, a special family outing that everyone enjoyed. Today, online shopping has replaced traditional Christmas shopping, leaving us longing for the experience of stepping into brightly lit stores, hearing the happy chatter of shoppers, and enjoying the festive sights and smells. The 70s were simple and beautiful times we all wish could return. Technology may have made our lives easier, but some traditions are worth bringing back. Generation Z has no idea how beautiful it was to receive Christmas cards from family and friends. The trend has all but disappeared with the rise of technology. Today's version of Christmas cards has been reduced to overused forwards and emojis on WhatsApp. Once upon a time, people took the time to either go to the bookstore to buy cards or sit down and make some by hand. Whether handmade or not, these cards were treasures proudly displayed on the fireplace or hung around the house with string. Each card was unique, chosen, or made with a specific person in mind. A handwritten, heartfelt message inside made each card a treasure. Opening a mailbox overflowing with Christmas cards brought such excitement. Sadly, this tradition has faded, and few people still uphold it. It leaves us longing for the personal touch that handwritten cards once brought to the season. The chug-chug of a train set around a Christmas tree was heavenly. Families would spend hours setting up the train each Christmas, creating time for family bonding. Receiving a train set for Christmas was one of the highest privileges back then. Unfortunately, the trend has died out, especially as homes became smaller and needed more space for the set. The sets were art pieces with tiny carriages and elaborate tracks. The first toy trains came out in the 1850s, coinciding with the popular trend of Christmas trees. As families decorated their trees, they also embraced the toy trains circling the tree, adding a sense of magical wonder to Christmas. The tiny trains were either electric or wind-up and gained popularity in the early 20th century. The charm of these tiny locomotives, with their continuous chugging along the small tracks, captured everyone's imagination. The train custom has been a part of American history since the 1900s. The custom is also rooted in deep nostalgia, especially since it was passed from generation to generation. At the time, railroads were rooted deep in our consciousness because when you needed to travel long distances, you had to go by train. The locomotives also brought everything good, from visiting loved ones to goods in town. The train under the tree signified the path by which all the Christmas goodies arrived. Today, the tradition is alive in some homes, but it has largely died out, with kids preferring to play video games. For those who remember, train sets evoke a deep nostalgia for the old days when a train set was the ultimate Christmas gift. Who doesn't love to hear Christmas carols during Christmas? These age-old songs that herald Christmases are the epitome of the season. Remember those days when on Christmas, carolers would go from door to door singing carols? They were greeted warmly, given a mug of hot chocolate and a cookie or two, and then they would be on their merry way. Do you know where caroling originated? Carols first appeared thousands of years ago in Europe, but they were not the carols we know today. Caroling was a dance where people sang songs at winter solstice celebrations and danced around stone circles. The word carol is from carole, a French word meaning a dance accompanied by singing. Caroling was also known as wassailing, named after the hot, thick, and spiced beverage the watts were offered to keep them warm as they moved from house to house. With time, wassailing evolved, and kids began singing carols at Christmas from door to door. Caroling is rare today, mostly due to safety reasons, and people can now download carols and listen to them at their convenience. However, the simplicity and purity of going around with family or friends, spreading cheer as we sing carols, is irreplaceable. It brought people together, filled the cold nights with music, and rekindled the beauty of the Christmas spirit. Oh, how we miss those beautiful days. Bringing out the fine china was a celebrated tradition in the 70s. The holidays were when we removed the sacred china from the cabinets and cleaned it in anticipation of the Christmas lunch. Fine china back then included heirlooms handed down from mothers to daughters. Our grandmas treasured the fine china they would eventually hand to our mothers. It is nostalgic to think about how we felt when listening to the clink of polished silver on plates. The elegant setting of the table thrust the entire home into a festive mood. Each piece of china had a remarkable story that Grandma retold with nostalgia and pride every year. Sadly, this tradition has slowly died out. People were working more and had no time to set up elaborate dinners. People stopped buying china that they could pass down to their kids, and paper plates became the new norm as nobody had time to wash numerous plates by hand. This Christmas, why don't you remove that fine china that has become part of your decor and make this year memorable for yourself and your family? If there was any season that could drain families financially, it's Christmas. There was so much to buy, and the money sometimes wasn't enough to go around. This is where the Christmas Club Savings Account swooped in to save the day. If you have never heard of the Christmas Club Savings Account, you must have been born after the 70s. These accounts were popular in the 50s and 60s, petering out in the 70s. During their heyday, the club served a practical and unique purpose, helping families save for the festive season and the expenditure that came with it. On the surface, the Christmas Club account did not make sense. You deposited some money in the bank every month, on which they paid 0 interest. The bank would only let you withdraw the money on the 1st of December. There was nothing to gain from this, yet Americans kept depositing cash into the account, even though a savings account could have earned them interest. There was something about separating your money and watching it grow. Knowing you had a neat Christmas nest egg made all the difference. And you sailed through the year with 0 Christmas shopping stress. At the end of the year, you could withdraw your money and shop till you dropped. It was a good idea, yet it made no financial sense. The account had a low interest rate and charged various fees. After a while, the additional costs of running an extra account outside the regular savings account led to the decline of this account. Do you remember gathering around a crackling fire during Christmas? Do you know where the Yule candle and log originated? Scandinavian and Scottish traditions included burning an ornamental candle in festive green and red, decorated with holly and ivy. Yule was a pagan celebration that happened around the winter solstice. Most people in Northern Europe had practiced this celebration for centuries before Christianity came. This was the time when the shortest days and longest nights and most of the Yule celebration centered on fire, which stood in as a symbol for the sun. The Yule celebration centered on fire, thus burning logs. The celebration called the light back into the gloomy world during these short and dark winter days. The Yule candle later symbolized Christ, the world's light. By the 18th century, Georgians burned Yule logs or candles to celebrate Christmas. Remember the Christmas carol, Deck the Halls, that mentions Yule logs? See the blazing Yule before us, fa la 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 la. A tradition practiced during the Christmas season was lighting the Yule candle. This was a huge white candle lit by the head of the family at sunset on Christmas Eve and allowed to burn all through the night. They believed it was bad luck if the candle burned out before Christmas morning. The Scottish people believed that a family should not purchase a Yule candle, but receive it as a gift and set it on the dining table. Most of these traditions were passed down from generation to generation, and we didn't know their origins. All we did was enjoy Christmas. For people who had no fireplaces to burn the Yule logs, they substituted by baking Yule-like chocolate cakes. The tradition somehow died out. Only a few people remember or even practice it. Do you remember the magic and anticipation of writing a letter to Santa Claus? It was a widespread tradition back in the day when kids sat down to handwrite letters to Santa. Writing the letter was a whole ceremony, with kids writing it in their best handwriting and decorating it with drawings or stickers. You would painstakingly write the letter, expressing your Christmas wishes and detailing how good you had been during that year. And then, off the letter would go to the North Pole. Where did this tradition come from? Originally, Santa left letters in the kids' stockings. The letters told the children about their naughty deeds in the past year and how to improve. Parents seized this chance to write messages to their children, setting them on the fireplace mantle. Eventually, the kids started writing back, which was how the writing to Santa tradition came to be. Kids use websites or apps today, and seeing a handwritten letter is rare. Children still send letters to Santa, but visit Santa's U.S. satellite workshop. They open the letters, review them, redact personal information, and upload them to the USPS OperationSanta.com website. This website provides a platform where strangers can help families enjoy the magic of Christmas. Gone are the days when we enjoyed the pure joy of dropping a letter in the mail for Santa, believing he would fulfill our wishes. The famous Christmas carol, We Wish You a Merry Christmas, references the figgy pudding. Toward the end of the 16th century, carolers sang this song. When the poor stood on the wealthy folks' doorsteps, they sang, "Oh, bring us some figgy pudding, and we won't go until we get some." This was probably in jest, but they hoped they would get a bite of the richly flavored pudding. Figgy pudding is a traditional steamed cake filled with spices and dried fruit. It was often steeped in brandy or rum, giving it a rich flavor. The cake was made a few weeks before Christmas, allowing the alcohol to seep and the flavors to mature. Figgy pudding dates back to late medieval times, but its initial form was different from what we know today. The dish was once a savory meat dish known as plum pottage. It took shape between the 17th and 18th centuries, and the meat was gradually eased off the recipe in favor of suet or tallow. The invention of the pudding basin and cloth allowed people to steam or boil it easily. In the 19th century, the predominantly British dessert became the Christmas pudding as we know it today. Before it had Christian symbolism, made with 13 ingredients, each representing Jesus and each disciple. The sprig of holly represented Jesus' crown of thorns. The figgy pudding was served with a sprig of holly and set aflame. It became a massive part of the Christmas festivities and symbolized the warmth and decadence associated with the season. Today, figgy pudding is a rarity in homes during Christmas festivities. The delicacy pudding is a sweet and nostalgic reminder of days gone by. If you have never tasted it, why don't you go online, get a recipe, and make a difference in your home this Christmas? Christmas is a season to be jolly. It signifies a time for family, love, and the spirit of giving. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, and comment so that YouTube recommends it to others.